you want me to go ahead? I'm going to hit start recording now.
Oh, you're not recording yet?
No.
Oh.
Yep, we're fine.
Okay.
We just did. That's the only thing we had to hit.
Okay, well, you can start the meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
The Parks and Rec meeting for January 25th, I'd like to call it to order.
Speak into your mic, please.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. The first item is Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item is there any public comment on the agenda for this evening? Okay, I guess we have no comment.
So, sorry, Michael, at this point, if you can just tell the viewing audience what the phone number is for them to call in, and that way we will give people the opportunity to make public comment, but I will let you know that we did not have any email notification of public comment in advance. And as a reminder, this portion of public comment, it can only include items that are already listed on the agenda. But if you wouldn't mind letting people know what that phone number is, that would be great.
Right. The public comment phone number is 702-293-9210. So the first...
Nope, the public comment for this portion is, phone number is 702-589-9629. Public comment for right now, 702-589-9629, and we'll give you just a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I left the voicemail number. Thank you for correcting that. The first agenda item is approval of the November 23rd, 2020 meeting minutes. Is there any comment, or do I have a motion for approval?
I motion to approve. I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes, and so they're approved. The second item pertains to the Boulder City Municipal Golf Course. And this discussion was going to be by Roger, but I guess Julie will do it tonight.
That is correct. Roger's in another meeting, so he gave me some notes. The Boulder City Municipal Golf Course is in great shape and getting a lot of play. You can tell by the reports that are in your packet, rounds are up, revenue is up, and things are looking good for sure for the municipal golf course. COVID has been a friend of golf. People love to be outside. They can naturally social distance, and Boulder City Municipal Golf Course is definitely benefiting from that. He wanted me to let you know, too, that currently the maintenance contract for our golf courses, we have a contract with Turf Tech, and that will be expiring in June of 2021, so that's this June, and the city will be going to City Council tomorrow evening with two different maintenance options. One being that they could go out for another RFP and get a bid for the maintenance to continue at both of the golf courses. The other thing is another option where we could amend the current contract with golf professional Andy Shaper to take over the labor portion of the maintenance, and the city being the one who would start purchasing the supplies like sand and fertilizer and seed and things like that. And it would be a way that we could be a little bit more transparent, and city staff seems to think that we might actually save some money doing it that way. So those will be the two different options that are going before council tomorrow at the city council meeting. that is all I have for your update on golf. Any questions?
I have a question. Haven't we done in-house before?
Yes, there was a time, let's see, maybe back in 2007, where the maintenance of the golf course at the municipal golf course was handled in-house, meaning we had city staff that were the maintenance crew, and we had a golf superintendent that oversaw that activity as well. It proved to be more financially prudent to contract out.
But it's been a while.
Yes, and so that is the reason why that is not necessarily the most financially responsible way to do it at this point. It's so we're not recommending going forth that way and hiring a bunch of more people to be city employees to fulfill that obligation.
My second question is about Frisbee golf. Isn't there a Frisbee golf course at Muni?
No, we have disc golf.
Disc golf.
Yes, and that is at the Boulder Creek.
Boulder Creek.
Yes,
okay.
and right now, with the popularity of golf in general, they're a little bit limited with the number of reservations they can take for disc golf, because they're packed with real golfers or regular golfers. So, so that's a little bit
I had someone asking the other
not
day.
as active as it has been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Yes, Julie, I had one. The figures and comments here are just for the municipal course, or do they include Boulder Creek?
Just the municipal course.
Okay. And the second comment I've heard from around the community is, I noticed the rates just went up at the Muni course. And most people have asked, why didn't they go up more for, say, Clark County or the tourist, the other two categories?
So basically, what they did was across the board, everybody on average had a $5 increase.
But for example, Twilight 1 o'clock is $25 for 18 holes across the board.
So we did,
by far the cheapest
yeah,
golf
so
course.
honestly, we just did the across the board instead of doing each little individual one and doing this one for $10 and this one for $3 and this one for $2. We just did it across the board, and that's how it was approved by the city manager to increase it.
Too good a deal.
It is too good of a deal, but yeah.
Everybody I've talked to on the golf course compliments about the course and about how reasonable it is.
Yes, we
So-
want people to keep coming out there and enjoying it for sure.
It's busy.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments on it? Do I hear a motion to approve the report?
I move to approve.
I second.
It's been moved and second to approve the report. It's approved. The next agenda item is for the Recreation Division. And the first report, I guess, will be from Jennifer, who is Julie now, I assume?
That is correct. So just to kind of let you guys know what is happening in Parks and Recreation, I'll talk about this more when it's my agenda item, but we are facilitating vaccine appointments for Boulder City. So staff like Jennifer and Kelly, when we get to sports, are back in the office facilitating calls and scheduling residents. So they have provided me with their information and updates for you guys for today. So from Jennifer, she wanted to let you know a little bit about SafeKey. We are still offering SafeKey in the afternoon. And on average, there's only about 5 kids that are showing up on a regular basis. And but the parents are so grateful that we are offering this, that the kids have a chance to see their friends and that the parents have a chance to have a little bit of a break, that we feel like we're still serving an important need for our community. So that'll keep going moving forward. The Art Center is currently closed. The Youth Center is closed. We are still operating under the current governor's guidelines. So indoor activities along those lines are put on hold. The fitness center is still operating. You can only use the fitness center by appointment, and it's a 25% capacity. They have been doing an excellent job maintaining that facility and the reservations and continuing to be able to provide that outlet for our community. They've done a great job there. We do have some classes that operate outside, or they've changed up so that they can operate outside. Those classes are horseback riding, Tai Chi, functional fitness, and our boot camp are all still operating because they can go outside. Tiny Tot seems to be doing good. Again, the parents are very grateful that they have that outlet, and that the kids still get to spend time with their peers. And we've even had an addition to the afternoon class and had some new registrations this year. So it's still a very popular class. We have amazing teachers that just pour their heart and soul into those kids. So. Now, one thing Jennifer had mentioned is that she did remind everybody that we are consumed with COVID testing and scheduling for that. There has been a change in that. While the city is still offering testing, and it actually happens to be a rapid test, so people know within 15 minutes if they're testing positive, but there is no appointment required for that now, so it's very nice. They can just go straight to the fire department at the times that they're offering it and get that rapid test immediately. So that's very good. That is from Jennifer.
And how about Kelly?
All right, sports. Here we go.
Sports.
In December, Parks and Recreation Sports Department finalized the youth football and their games. And that was all approved by the state, and we had to basically submit our plan for COVID so that it could be approved by the state. Athletes did get to enjoy 6 games, and then the season ended. And then they also were able to have a youth co-ed volleyball in December, again, under governor's guidelines. It was the first time that this particular activity was offered, meaning the volleyball, co-ed volleyball, and it was very popular. So they're going to try it again next fall because there was a lot of people who enjoyed that. Youth and adult basketball was canceled for the winter because it's an indoor activity that is not permissible right now. And then we're still not doing a lot of indoor activities at all. Indoor pickleball is still on hold, and we're just kind of waiting to hear back from the governor mid-February on the status of utilizing the gymnasium, whether it be for open gym or for some of these other sports. So as far as youth sports goes, we are still operating outdoor hockey. So they've kind of changed it up and tried to be able to accommodate within the guidelines. So outdoor hockey is going on, and it's small groups, and they're pods, and you stay with your group and you just rotate. They're 10 to 15 minute sessions, and that began on January the 9th. That is, adult sports. Jamie and Kelly have been working on submitting and amending and resubmitting plans for adult sports programs because, again, this all has to be approved by the state before we can go forward with it. And they're hoping to get something off the ground for outdoor co-ed softball and possibly an over-the-line tournament. Plans have been submitted to the state, and hopefully we'll be able to get something started in maybe by the end of February if the pause is lifted and we get approval from the state. Any questions on sports?
When you mentioned volleyball, that's outdoor volleyball at the sound court over in Veterans?
That was correct.
I see that now and then, and it seems like quite a few people participate in it.
Yes, it seems to be very popular. Usually in the summer, not in the snow, but whatever.
This was a few weeks ago, I saw
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
so I was impressed. Any other comments?
I actually had a question about the safe key. So what hours is it going right now?
Did you ask testing? Is that what you asked?
The safe key?
Oh, Safe Key, thank you, sorry. That 2:30 or 3?
No,
2:30 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Okay. So with the school district just approved the like moving forward with the hybrid model, but they're like trying small groups first and there's not really any sort of solid plan. But do you think if the kids do go back to school, we'll be able to expand the Safe Key hours at all, like back to the morning or?
So currently, we only have staff to facilitate the afternoon hours.
Okay.
We have had a job posting probably since the middle of July for Safe Key and have not had a whole lot of success. Partially because sometimes we use high school students, which they're in school and they're doing, distance learning. So that has been an area that we have not, or we've had parents who like to do that while their kids are in school. Again, now they're the ones that are facilitating distance learning. So we don't have the staff to do all day. We don't have the adequate location to do all day if we needed to provide social distancing, et cetera. So I would love to say, yes, we're ready when the school goes back in session, whenever that is. And we will make every effort to be. But today, if school went back in session tomorrow, even if it was hybrid and people were looking towards Safe Key to be able to provide all-day care, we do not have adequate staff at this point.
Because I know, Little Lambs and the Christian Center, they're doing like the study centers and stuff. So there's definitely like all day. But I think with the hybrid right now, they're looking at having half the kids go on like Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, there's nobody in the building. They're going to disinfect or whatever. And then Thursday, Friday, the other half of the kids would go. So during the regular school year, when things were normal, did they do something in the morning too? Like not necessarily all day, but just like a morning drop off and then the kids came?
So in a normal school year, we have Safe Key operating from 7 a.m. until school starts. So I think Mitchell, it maybe starts at like 8:22 or 8:17 or something. So Safe Key starts at 7 in the morning, and then Safe Key starts again as soon as that first bell rings in the afternoon. So from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. when they're not in school is typically when Safe Key would be meeting. Now, I will tell you that Jennifer and I have been on many, many conference calls with other Safe Key leaders in the Valley who have also expressed concerns with going to the hybrid model and what does that mean for Safe Key? Are they going to allow us in the schools to have Safe Key? Because typically our Safe Key program is at the facility, and to date, Clark County School District has been very adamant about we cannot utilize their facility. So there's a lot of logistics still that would need to be worked out and working together. And our office is in touch with those people. We're on conference calls and stuff like that, but there has been nothing set in stone at this point. But we're trying. We're trying to know what's going on before it goes on. But that, like everything else, changes regularly.
Thank you. Any more comments? Okay, Julie, it looks like you're up again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming today to listen to me. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, most of our focus in our office right now is vaccine scheduling. We are the hub for all phone calls, and it was a little bumpy to start with, but we think we have it down now. We're answering phones in the order that they come in. We're taking people's names and numbers, and we're getting them scheduled as soon as possible. As you know, if you've watched the news, there is an issue with supply and demand. Way more demand than there is supply. So right now we're not scheduling test times for the most part, but we are taking names and numbers and we will contact people in a chronological order from when we received their information, and we'll be calling them back and setting vaccine appointments once we know that we have a vaccine on hand. The one thing we want to avoid at all costs is scheduling all these appointments, and then all of a sudden the health district says, no, I'm sorry, we don't have that supply. Then we have to call 300 people that we have scheduled for next Tuesday and say, I'm sorry, we have to reschedule you. So we're trying to avoid that at all costs. Not that we're not going to have to do some rescheduling and shifting just because a lot of that is out of our hands, but we're trying to make every effort. We have people that are working over, working extra hours. We have people coming in on the weekends. We had probably 5 Parks and Rec staff this morning that worked the vaccination clinic at the Smith Building here in town. I had some that worked over the weekend. Everybody has stepped up more than you can imagine. I've had firemen that have been in our office listening to everybody on the phone calls, and you can tell by talking to a lot of these individuals that they're wanting the vaccine and they want it very quickly. They're kind of scared and ready to get out of their house and want to move on and tired of being in their house for the last almost 11 months at this point, 10 months. So our staff is doing an amazing job and a real service to this community, and I cannot say enough about how much they've really stepped up. So with that in mind, that's why none of them are here today, because they're all back there doing that. So the one piece of other admin stuff that we are working on in our office is it is budget time. So we are having budget meetings with city staff, finance, and city council, and we've even done, or we have scheduled some workshops for the FY 2022 budget. And then I wanted to let you know about an upcoming project that we have, and that is going to be at the Veterans Memorial Park, the skate park. We are redoing one of the ramps there. The wood is deteriorating, and there's some other issues with the surface itself. And we were supposed to do this project at the end of last fiscal year when COVID kind of was just hitting, and we really didn't know what the economic impact was going to be from that, so we put it on hold. And we're to a point now where we have the funds in our budget and we shouldn't put it on hold any longer. So that will begin as soon as possible, as soon as we can get the vendor to have that scheduled. And so that'll be a rebuild for the skate park. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I have one. Some time ago, we talked about the addition of new pickleball courts. Mm-hmm. Is that still somewhere
so
in the queue?
That is definitely still on the horizon. However, right now, the focus is primarily on must-do projects. For example, this is the ramp could end up being a safety concern, and before we have to just shut it down altogether. That's why we're moving forward with that in particular. Pickleball courts are definitely on the horizon once it opens up a little bit more to do some of those things that might not be a priority, if that makes sense.
So I noticed the skate park certainly does get a lot of use. It's packed every afternoon, and I've been by there. So that's obviously a must-do. And obviously the main question I've gotten regarding Parks and Rec is your work on the vaccine. Do you anticipate dealing with tier 2 and 3 and whatever comes down the road as vaccine becomes available?
So are you saying, as in, do I foresee Parks and Rec continuing to take this over? We are happy to help in any way, any way we can, and are able to right now with our staff. We have other departments that are also helping and chiming in. As of right now, Parks and Rec will continue. There may be some change in that in the future, but as of right now, we're taking it head on and taking it day by day.
But certainly, maybe through tier 1 or whatever tier we're in now.
Correct.
Till we
Yes.
get that straightened out.
I foresee that, yes.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, Herculean job. I can't imagine the stress it puts on your organization trying to deal with that. I know I was one of those that called in that
Yep.
first day. And did you have very many people call in that weren't Boulder City residents?
So the first message I left on our answering machine the Thursday before it went to press wasn't as direct as when I came in on Saturday and the phone was ringing off the hook. And so we changed the message to be a lot more direct, and I must have said Boulder City resident like 15 times in the message. And as you know, since you were one of the first people that called in, you hear the message. So, and it says, don't leave a message, and it says you have to be a Boulder City resident. So the good part about that was once we actually, Tuesday after the holiday, were ready to start taking reservations, there were very few that were non-Boulder City residents.
Really?
So
Good.
that part's good. I think maybe today and my phone calls, maybe I had 3 or 4 at the most, and I'm sure that's rare. They kind of know at this point. What we're hoping to do is get through all of Boulder City, get everybody in Boulder City, and then I think the fire chief's plan is to open it up to Clark County and just advertise that at that point, not now, we will be opening it up to all Clark County and continue to service our community as a whole.
Yeah, I noticed the article in the RJ a few days before you opened it up didn't really specify Boulder City only on the Boulder City. I wondered if maybe that overdosed your system with.
Correct, exactly. Yes, it did.
Question, in regards to COVID, one of the things that's changed is parents' ability to go in and to pay for, or anyone to go in and pay for different activities and whatnot. And I'm wondering if within those budgets, if there's anything in the horizon for an online way of paying for different activities and whatnot.
Yes, our current system should have the capability to do that. We don't have all the upgrades that are needed, and working through that process with our software provider to get to that point. But yes, that is a goal of ours that is
And will
would
not
help
be
immensely.
tackled this week or next.
Correct. Unfortunately, that is correct. But yes, that's on the horizon.
Okay, good.
Any further comments? Okay, do I see a motion to approve the report?
I so move.
And a second?
I second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the report as written. It's approved. Now we're down to item with Kelly on the aquatics. Excuse me.
I can be whoever you want me to be. Good
Sherry,
afternoon.
excuse me.
So, no changes as far as, just like the rest of the city, online, or not online. Reservations are required, payment over the phone and so forth for things at the swimming pool. We continue to limit the class sizes, the amount of time a person can be lap swimming, and trying to keep separation between people the best that we can with our facility, the format of our facility. One thing that I know it was in my operations report, I think, but I did want to mention that just like there's no open basketball gym, open gym or whatever it's called over there, we don't have racquetball and volleyball as of December 2nd, I think it was. We've had a few phone calls as to why not, and somebody called Roger today, I think. So that's something that was put out, back in December or end of November. I have 2 new lifeguards. I could use a couple more in the mornings. So I'm doing early morning now and then because we don't have enough lifeguards for that, particularly for that morning shift. It's always a little tricky. And with the new semester, the kids' school schedules have changed. And I'm also in need of some swimming instructors. I've lost a couple of swimming instructors just due to scheduling. And we opened our swimming lessons up a little bit as far as what we're offering. And it'd be great to offer as much as we can within our limitations. So I'm looking for a couple of instructors, hoping to hold a water safety instructor course this spring, maybe train up some new folks. I think our classes are going well for what we are offering. Parents are interested. Parents, just like Safe Key and Tiny Tots and so forth, parents want things for their kids to do and have them outside the house for some of the day. And the pool water is safe. It's chlorinated to the appropriate extent, and it kills bugs. So our numbers continue to be about the same for water aerobics. It's almost always down in the winter, but that population of people, they are less inclined to get out of the house. I've had a lot of personal phone calls from people and saying, I really want to come back, but I'm not sure of being safe outside my home right now. We did have a fabulous event in December, so I included some pictures from our Buddy the Elf swim. It far exceeded our expectations. We had so many donations for that event that we were able to gift the youth that were identified in that with 20 to 30 gifts, big items, small items. It was just amazing. A lot of people came by just to drop off donations for that. They didn't, come swim, but they just wanted to give. It really was incredible. And Sierra did a great job she did most of the work on that, contacting the schools, the counselors, and getting the list of youth in need, as well as some items that could be useful for them. We delivered the gifts the week of December 21st, and it was really fun. I was part of that. It was really fun to get to surprise those kids. There was one family out of the area, and we provided them with gift cards so the family could purchase things for them. As far as the facility and equipment, we had one of the pumps pulled a couple weeks ago. It's been worked on. I think it was, if I read all the emails correctly, Julie, it was determined that a new motor rather than refurbishing the existing motor.
Yes, that seemed most cost effective.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know when that will be done, but the plan is once that's done, that goes back in and the second pump comes out and gets a look over and replace the impeller, and who knows if it needs a motor or just refurbished. And I think that's about it. Do you have any questions for me?
I've been getting a lot of inquiries about if there will ever be any openings on Friday and Saturday again.
I would love to. When I've brought it up, that has to go before the EOC, and I think I need to have a good plan for justifying that before. I do think possibly we could do something for swim team, but that's a, decision.
And I mean, not even necessarily like swim team, but I know you guys have like a lot of consistent swimmers in the mornings.
Yes,
so
we
even
do.
if it was just that like 6 to 10 window or something.
It's definitely on my list. I am in the process of putting together another swim-a-thon proposal that would have to get approved, but I'd like to do a swim-a-thon in February again. I know that's only one day, but it would be an extra day for swimming.
Sherry, I have just one question. It's kind of off the track here a bit, but with the COVID cleaning requirements and disinfectants, How does that affect your office over there, or your building? I mean, I'm trying to envision what
we do
how you
to,
deal with it, yeah. I mean,
so,
is it a natural environment?
well, the pool itself, yes, once you're in the pool, that's, from all of the, I've been on many Zoom meetings, webinars, website, reading various things, and that seems to be the consensus, is that the chlorine, and that's what we have, chlorine will keep you safe when you're swimming and, down in that water. As far as on the deck, in the facility, we do require people to wear their face coverings to maintain a physical distance and so forth. We have staff members who are wiping down like the high touch points every hour. And then as far as like the locker rooms and benches and other items on the deck, those are getting sanitized at the end of each shift. So at this point, that would be 3 times a day.
Big job.
Very thankfully, I'm not sure how long ago this was, long before COVID struck, we did purchase, I just call it a Ghostbuster unit. It's a backpack unit with this other form of chlorine. It's a high electrostatic device, so you pull the trigger and you mist everything down, and that's what we've been using since before this, but we're just using it more frequently now.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve Sherry's report?
I so move.
And second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the aquatic report, so thank you. And now I guess it's Julie's going to talk about the ad hoc committee and possibly mountain biking.
So the ad hoc committee is still meeting the third Tuesday of every month. Last month it was a very quick meeting. They're in the process of having a consulting firm go through the facility, and the work is twofold. One is to see an estimated cost of repairing the current facility that we have and coming up with their recommendation for upgrading it. And then they're also tasked with the job of coming up with a cost estimate for a new facility based on what the ad hoc pool committee has identified as the most desirable elements of the new aquatics complex. So I'm not sure when we will be getting the final result from those two different areas, but we do hope that it's soon, and that we'll be moving forward possibly with ballot questions to facilitate a new pool.
Good, okay, thank you. And then also mountain biking and
Bootleg Canyon is very popular this time of year, and we've actually even had a few downhill bike races that could still happen within the governor's guidelines. So that's kind of nice. There is still activity up at Bootleg Canyon. As far as the aerial trail system goes, or the zip lines, they are still closed, but Roger has heard from the owner of zip lines, Ian Green, and he said that he is hoping that come the spring they could reopen if things look a little bit better as far as the fallout from COVID. So he has been in contact with Mr. Green and hoping to open in the spring. So that is it from Bootleg Canyon.
good.
With all of the coyote activity, thank you, that's the word, that we have seen around town, has that been an issue at Bootleg?
Not to my knowledge, no, we have not heard of any issues or incidents.
Okay, I guess we're down to item 6, the report concerning the maintenance and operation of various facilities.
And Roger did have 2 items. He has a picture for y'all, and I'll pass this around, that's going to show the impellers. And Shuri had mentioned that the pool pumps had been pulled, and part of that is the impellers inside, of which they are changed out when they go through and repair. But I'll pass around a picture of that. And then also, there is a new bronze statue. It is of a bighorn sheep on the entrance coming into the municipal golf course that was donated by a local resident. I believe it might have been the son that donated it on behalf of his father who passed away. So I'll let you guys take a look at both of these, and that's all I have. This is the portion of the agenda where you guys as Parks and Recreation members, if you have any concerns or questions, you bring them up at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. You know, I noticed one thing. We talked last meeting about the tree issue and the botanist or whoever it was you had looking at the trees. I noticed in Veterans Park some of those trees that were pine trees that were diseased just got cut down today or yesterday. Very good. So it looks like you're going through that process.
It is definitely a process with the amount of trees that we have in Boulder City and how many of them need attention. We're getting through it in as orderly of a manner as possible, and that's greatly because of our staff in the landscape department. They're amazing, so.
Okay, so the report for the Parks and Recreation maintenance issues, are there any further comments? Is there a motion to approve? I'll second. So it's been moved and seconded to approve report number 5.
And just for the record, there was actually it was just a verbal report, so there was no need for a motion for that one, just to let you know. We're good for that one. Thank you.
And item number 7 is appointment of a new chairman and vice chairman for this committee.
So just to let everybody know, in case you don't, the first meeting in January of the Parks and Recreation Commission is when we assign the chairman and vice chairman, and you guys can motion and vote. And I just wanted to let you know that while our current chairman, Scott, is not here, he did say if somebody wanted to nominate him, he would be interested in continuing to be the chairperson for this committee if you so choose.
So I would like to nominate Scott for chairman to continue on this next year. Are there any other nominations for chairman? Then we motion it.
So I think we have yes, if we can have a motion and a second, and then we'll do a vote.
I make a motion to appoint Scott Henson as chairman of this committee
I
for the next
second.
year. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's passed. Now, vice chairman. I'd like to nominate Carla Morgan for vice chairman.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? So it's been moved and seconded that Carla will be vice chairman for this next year. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Thanks, Chuck.
All those opposed?
Oh, you're quite welcome.
So we have a new vice chairman next year.
Thank you.
And now item 8 is the public comment section, and I apologize for giving the wrong number out to begin with, and thank you, Julie, for correcting it. So is there any public comment, either on the phone or person?
And do you want to read out the number?
Okay, the call-in number again is 702-586-9629.
The call-in number is 702-589-9629.
Wow, can't even read. 589-9629.
Can I still ask another question? So with our like Tiny Tots payments and all of that stuff, are we allowed to come in and pay for it? We're still not able to. Okay. So like I called last week multiple times, and I've heard a lot of people like the voicemail's full. Okay. And then I called and left a message today, but
So we're not doing any late fees.
okay.
And as a matter of fact, when people call into our office to make a payment, we tell them thank you, thank you, thank you, and we're sorry, and thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
And so what we'll probably end up doing starting tomorrow is we'll reach out to all of our Tiny Tot parents and just take the initiative and try to contact you and make every arrangements to get those payments.
Okay. So TPAR does have the ability to be used or to have like an online web portal for payments and registration and stuff.
It does. Our system is just not compatible with it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's no further comment or questions, then is there a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
I second.
It's been moved and second, we adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Night.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Well, we struggled through another one there.